So being a researchers, when we are going to begin data analysis, so before data analysis, we need to have basic understandings for about our goals, our objective, and types of variables. Then we need to understand types of data, and data is from Gaussian populations, means if data is following the characteristics of normal distributions, then we'll apply the parametric test. And if data is not following the, which is from non-Gaussian population, and not following the characteristics of the normal distribution, then we'll go for the non-parametric test. And if outcome variable is like binomials, categoricals, then which statistical test will apply. And if data is like time to event, so what would be the expected survival time? So in which condition we can apply which kind of the statistical test, we try to explain here in few points. It's like we have one group and one single group, like age of the patients, in a number of patients, and age of the patient is given, one single group, and the large number of the data is the large, means following the characteristics of the normal distribution, then we'll go for the parametric test. In that case we can calculate mean and standard deviation. If it is from non-Gaussian population, then we can calculate median and interquartile range. And if it is the binomial categories, then we can calculate proportions. And if it is the first survival time, so we can calculate Kaplan-Meier survival curve. Same way, so here we have a single group, then we can go for that. If we are going to compare one group to a hypothetical value, like in a class we are assuming what is the expected IQ value is 100. This is the hypothetical IQ value we are taking from the class is 100. Then we are going to select some sample from the data, and we are going to validate with the statistical test. If it is from Gaussian population, then we'll go for one sample t-test. If it is not, we are going for non-parametric test, then we can use the Wilcoxon test. And if it is the binomial outcome, then we can go for chi-square test or binomial test. See, and now next points, compare two unpaired groups. So we need to understand paired and unpaired. So here we are taking unpaired. So if it is the Gaussian population, then we'll use unpaired t-test. If it is the non-Gaussian, then we'll go for the Mann-Whitney test. And if it is the binomial, two possible outcomes, then we go for the Fisher's test and chi-square for large sample. If a sample size is less, then we'll go for the Fisher test, like 2 cross 2 contingency table. Each box is containing a smaller sample, then we'll go for it. And if it is survival time, we'll go for the log rank test or mental Hanjal. And same way we are going for comparing two paired groups, then we'll go for pair t-test for Gaussian, non-Gaussian, Wilcoxon test, binomial McNamara test, and survival time conditional proportional hazard regressions. And compare three or more unmatched group, then we go for one-way ANOVA or non-Gaussian Kruskal-Wallis test, and binomial chi-square test. And survival time we can go for Cox proportional hazard regressions. In continuation, if we have a compare, if we have to compare three or more matched groups, then for Gaussian we go for the repeated major ANOVA, and if non-Gaussian, then we'll go for the Friedman test. And binomial outcome, then we'll go for Cochran Q. And for survival time, we'll go for conditional proportional hazard regression. And if we are going to quantify association between two variables, then go for Gaussian will go for Pearson correlation, non-Gaussian means non-parametric will go for Spearman correlation, and binomial will go for contingency coefficients. And if we are going for predict value from another measured variable, then for parametric will go for simple linear regression or non-linear regression, and non-parametric for non-parametric regression, and binomial will go for simple logistic regression, and survival will go for Cox proportional hazard regression. In continuation, if we are going to predict value from several measured or binomial variables, then for parametric we'll go for multiple linear regression or multiple non-linear regression, and for binomial we'll go for multiple logistic regression, and survival will go for Cox proportional hazard mass. So these are the basics points we need to understand being allied health sciences and public health experts. Once we have a data and we are going to analyze the data, we need to understand which statistical test we can apply in which conditions.